Morning.
Hey, good morning, Yusuf. How you doing?
Good. How was your day so far?
Excellent, excellent. I was kind of stuck inside this morning because we had some snow and some ice come through, and you know where I'm at. I'm out on some country back roads, and there's no way
Yeah,
I'm taking my
yeah.
front wheel drive car out on that.
The, the place I've been to last time. This is not your place, right? This is Mackenzie's, right?
Right, yep.
Man, this is like the dream house for me. Having
Yeah.
the big backyard with the. I'd like to have horse stables and all that, chickens and animals in the backyard.
It would be cool. It's a
I
dream,
still
yeah.
have the honey she gave me last time. I haven't tried it yet.
Yeah, there's honey, we've got bees obviously, and there's we do have 4 or 5 chickens now. I don't know if we had those last time you were here, but yeah, we get
Yeah,
fresh
I
eggs every
remember. I remember
morning.
being my kid last time. He played with the chicken.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yep.
Well, I had a quite eventful morning as well. I went to the gym. So I did 10 minutes on Jacob ladder. This has been my favorite recently. I do 10 minutes just to get my blood flowing and kind of get my cardiovascular on the go and then stop walking. I brought down my cardio. So I'm walking on the treadmill and the guy next to me is running real hard and he's got the incline set up real high. So I walk in there. I started my video watching some YouTube videos, and then all of a sudden it sounded weird next to me, and I look at the guy, and he's like in a slow motion,
Oh,
and he would fall down and started seizing. So
whoa.
I went to him, and he was like this, couldn't breathe. So I shouted at everybody, "Hey, we need someone to come here. We need help. Call 911." He started seizing. It was a long seizure. So he started. Ah, man, I'm kind of rewinding that in my mind right now. He couldn't breathe, and he started getting hypoxia, and his lips turned blue. And it's been more than a minute. Well, luckily there was a nurse in the gym, and he came. I told him I'm good with CPR if we need to. But usually with seizures, you don't need CPR because technically the heart is pumping still. And then he started snoring like every couple minutes,
Mm.
kind of getting his breath back. We laid him to the side. We called the paramedics. They must have been down the street. They came in like 3 or 4 minutes. They were there.
Good,
And then
good.
he started breathing back. And he was confused for like 5 minutes when he woke up. He got emotional. I don't know. He started mumbling. I think I heard him say, I wanted to be loyal or something like that. It was weird. He couldn't remember his name. He couldn't remember where he was. And it took him a while till he stated his name and birthday and his address and all that. He looked like a new guy to the gym. I guess he came in with a guest pass or something because he lived in Michigan. He was okay. He couldn't drive. We asked him a couple of basic questions like, "Did you come with somebody else? Is anybody else with you in the gym?" And he was like, "No, by myself." "Did you eat anything this morning?" I was like, "No." "Do you take any medications?" "No." "Did you bring a bag with you to the gym?" And he was like, "Yep, I brought my bag." "Do you remember the locker number?" I was like, "No, I don't remember it." "What color is your bag?" And he was like, "I don't remember." He was still confused, so they started an IV on him. They couldn't let him drive back because he was obviously out of it. That was the last 5 minutes of my cardio. I
What a
would.
way to end a session, man. That's crazy.
It's crazy, yeah. He was using my cardio machine, my incline that I use, my treadmill that I usually do.
Oh yeah.
So I was right next to him. It's crazy because when things happen like that, people just stop looking. So
Yeah,
for
nobody acts,
yeah,
right?
for like 20 seconds or 15, 20 seconds, I was shouting at everybody, somebody come, somebody call 911, somebody call the owner or something. And everybody was like watching. What the heck, guys? Do you need popcorn? You gotta do
Right.
something. The man is dying. I think he bumped his head when he fell down because he turned back. He did the right thing. He did. he took one foot off the rail of the treadmill and put it by the side. But because he was seizing too hard, he got stiff and he lost balance and fell down.
Jeez.
He was going real fast on an incline, not eating. Yeah, 21-year-old. Yeah.
Oh, he's only 21?
He's only 21, and from what we know of him, this is his first time having a seizure.
Oh, wow. That's so normally when I have seen seizures in public before, probably at least twice that I can remember.
Hmm.
But talking with them or possibly their friends or the people around them, I typically find that it's not the first time
Yeah,
that
he
this
usually
this
runs in the family.
happens.
My kids had it, both of them. It's called a febrile seizure. It comes with high temperature, so when they get sick, they started zoning out and then kind of shaking, and then it comes.
Oh man.
So last time it happened to my youngest, to my oldest, when they were back at my country, and I wasn't there. But for his brother, the little one, it happened last year, or more than a year ago, and it was, man, it's the most terrible thing you would watch, especially when a loved one,
Yeah.
especially for kids and infants. When they stop breathing, they get the hypoxia way sooner than adults. So his whole face turned blue, like dark blue. He couldn't breathe. And we called 911. It was like in the middle of like midnight, like well over midnight, 2 a.m. or something. He was sick. He had a high temperature, and I had to do mouth to mouth and CPR and all that. I was shocked. I mean, I've done this. I've done the CPR, like real CPR, a couple times. But if you do it for someone that you know and you watch their faces and that their mouth start running and it's crazy, the eyes are popping out. It's like a
Yeah.
different person. So first thing when they came, the paramedics when they came, they wanted to check on his ribs because they thought I would break his ribs doing the CPR and mouth to mouth. It happens when you get really when the panic hits, you could actually hurt them, especially for young, like for infants. With the CPR, you gotta do two fingers instead of pushing. And then with
Right.
breaths, you wanna be real careful because blowing up too much when you're panicking,
Mm.
you could actually hurt them. But he was okay. It happened once to his brother, happened once to him. Hopefully not anymore.
Yeah, I hope
They were
not. I
around the
hope
same
not.
age too. It runs in my family, the Fabrio seizure. I've seen it in my cousins, and it happens around the same age. But having a seizure running on an incline treadmill,
Yeah, man,
crazy.
especially the first one ever, that guy is probably yeah, he'll be having a hard time with this for a few weeks. I
I
don't know if he'll go back to the gym or
I
not for
know,
a
right?
while.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I would take a break.
Yeah. I wouldn't set foot in the gym for probably a month after that, man. At least not a treadmill.
Yeah, maybe having someone with me in the gym just in case.
Right. Yeah, for sure.
Yep, the schools are closed today.
Oh yeah, do you have your kids at home with you?
Yeah, I
Yeah,
have one of them. I have Haida with me. The daycare for the little one is open. I dropped him before I went to the gym.
cool.
I thought it was gonna be sunny. You told me a couple days ago it was gonna be warm for the couple next days. What happened to that? You gave me false hope, man.
I think I didn't give you the full story because yeah, I mean I even knew it, so that's my bad. What happened was I think it was Wednesday. It obviously we're pretty far north, so Wednesday all of a sudden it went from 10 degrees out to like 50 degrees and it felt like summer. And then
Yeah, it
last night it was raining all day. And
was
then,
raining
well,
and it
all of
turned
a
to a hail.
sudden that cold air came back and everything's frozen now.
Everything is frozen, man. I left my car like parked, not in the garage, outside. And at night, when I wanted to go to the gym, the doors won't open. I had the van, the sliding door, they won't open till this morning. So I gotta bring my kids into the car from the back door because only my door and the back door would open.
Yep.
But it's melting. I put it back in the garage. It's melting now. All right. So we said we're gonna touch on training today. Um,
Yeah.
so you've been, I know you've been training people somehow since later in high school.
Basically, yeah, it was pretty much as soon as I graduated. I actually did one semester of college before I earned my certification, but I started part-time personal training before I was even certified. And then just kind of as I continued to get certified, and I was fully certified in 2018, so that was a few years ago, 4 years ago. I'm 22 now, but I've been training people off and on since that time, and then obviously with my own training, I've kept up um, very, very, very consistently, and it's cool to think back about how I used to train versus how I train now, and kind of where I started and where I ended up.
Yeah,
Um,
tons of knowledge. A lot of people start without certification, which is not necessarily a bad thing if you don't take lead of everything. So if you kind of help someone who's already have a background in fitness, this way you kind of both learn from each other's. A lot of people as clients, they depend on the certification more than the actual field experience, which I don't necessarily trust.
yeah, I agree.
Yeah, because I mean, studying materials online, everybody can do that, but doing it actually and figuring out what works best. Because personal training, as you know, it's all about personalization. Everybody's different, and this is what I did too. I feel like I learned 10 times from field experience versus what I studied. It's a cool thing starting with the clients. It adds up to your everything that you learn, you apply in real life, and this is where your actual real experience starts building from training in person.
Definitely. Yeah.
I'm sure you learned a lot, even for your training style from your clients. I still do
Oh
that.
yeah.
I still learn from my clients in everything, in posing, in dieting, in recipes, food recipes, in training, and like it's tons of knowledge.
Definitely.
Yep, having clients, I'm sure you know that if you're training by yourself, training yourself on a time frame of 10 years, you would have 10 years of experience. But if you have 10 clients on 1 year, you can have that 10 years experience in 1 year, let alone having
Yeah.
50 clients or 30 clients or 20, 70 clients for 3, 4 years. It's tons of knowledge, and a lot of people don't realize how important that is. So how do you tackle your training with your in-person clients? Do you guys plug in everything to make sure that you're progressively improving?
Oh yeah, definitely, definitely. So how I handle my clients, whether they're in person or fully online, is through the Trainerize application, and that's where you get. I mean, it's a really really good app because you get very very detailed reports every single month, or even on a weekly or session by session basis. So I'm able to look at those graphs and kind of extrapolate that data and see what's working and what's not working because I mean, that's very important, especially just starting, because when you get new clients, and you have to take some time to be able to learn how they work, how their body functions, because it's different for everybody. So it's good to have just kind of a baseline,
Yes,
and then 1 week in, 2 week in, 2 weeks in, start to tweak things just little by little,
yes,
so that you
I
can
love
see
that.
those lines of progress continuing to go up.
Yeah.
That's what I like to see. So anytime that progress starts to dip a little bit, that's when boom, I come in and I'm gonna either add a set, maybe even take out a couple of reps or lower the weight.
Mm.
If fatigue is a concern, just in order to make sure that that plateau doesn't continue week over week, because obviously that's why people want a coach or a trainer,
Yeah,
is so that they can bust through plateaus and so they don't get stuck. Because I
exactly.
think most people have tried to work out on their own, and I think the big reason they fall off is, yeah, there's the motivation, and we can talk about that in a separate video, but a big part of it is that they just get stuck and they're not seeing the same progress that they used to.
And they start maxing out everything. A lot of people. Well, I like your method personally. That you start the first couple weeks. It's more of a learning, studying phase where you're trying to figure out the body and their genetics and their limitations and their form and everything and nutrition, compliance, all that you will learn it in the first couple of weeks, rather than just throwing all variables all at once. It doesn't work like that. I like to take it just like you, step by step, manipulating variables one at a time and allowing time to actually reflect the feedback or the results. And as you said, I love Trainer Eyes because you have a complete history of everything. You got their sleep, their steps, their calories, their training sessions, their weights, their cardio, all of that. And the more feedback you got, the more knowledge you have to manipulate. How do you when a client hits a plateau, what's the first thing that you want to change?
Yeah, it depends on what that plateau looks like, because you get sort of, I call them micro or macro plateaus. So like a micro plateau might just be, last week you bench pressed 150 pounds. The current program calls for a slight increase in weight each week. So maybe you're supposed to be able to hit the same number of reps, but with 155 pounds this week. And that's just one workout. So you hit 150 week one, and you're stuck at 150 week two. But let's say you have a bunch of other exercises either in that same session or on different days, and you're continuing to notice improvements with those workouts. In that case, I typically won't actually change anything until a couple more weeks pass, because the first thing that goes to my mind is maybe there's an issue with technique. Maybe we need to take some time and practice this movement. So if anything, I would lower the weight, and it really does depend. Now, if a client is reaching a hard plateau and we're not seeing any progress anywhere, obviously we have to account for all of the variables, and there are a lot of variables to this, including sleep, diet, stress levels. Okay, but if we do have all of our ducks in a row and sleep is great, nutrition looks good, and you're not super stressed, in that case, typically I feel it's time for a deload week. And during that week, depending on what progression looked like from the start of that month to the end, if we're working on increasing, I always overload progressively something, but I typically work with one variable per month.
Awesome.
So if we
Really
spend
smart.
time focused on intensity, then I would deload specifically intensity. I would not touch the number of sets that you're doing or the number of reps. I would pull weight off of the bar and give you kind of a form. I would use a formula, and I would give you the weights that I would want you to work with during that deload week. And hopefully that fixes the plateau pretty quickly. And if it doesn't, there are kind of more tools in the tool bag, but I'd like to hear your thoughts on that, Yusuf.
Well, I totally agree with you. I think it's really smart that you kind of give it a confirmation week. So if they're not progressing, okay, let's stop here for a week. And what Eli was talking about, for everybody who's listening, he was talking specifically about training and progressing in weights and volume and all that in training. But same thing actually applies to dieting. So when someone weighs in, they're dropping weight, dropping weight, dropping weight, and then all of a sudden they hit a plateau or they gain a little bit. They're like, "What happened? I didn't lose anything this week. I'm actually gaining." And I'll be like, "Let's give it a week. We don't change anything. This is like the confirmation week, just like the same thing that you do. You wanna give it time, and then after that you start playing back with the variables. Either if it's a deload, you go back and circle back to other variables. How was your sleep? How was nutrition? How your stress levels? All that, because this is pure periodization, and this is what every coach should do and pay attention to. So on a deload, you either drop the intensity or the weights or the volume, the number of sets for
Correct. Yep.
goals, right?
Yeah, that's how I handle it. Yep.
And the main goal of that is to allow more recovery, kind of give the central nervous system a little bit more time to recharge. Maybe it plays a little bit mentally. If you're trying to tackle heavy weights every week, you get kind of tired of it. So if you go back and lower the weight, lower the volume, focus more on the pump and squeeze and all that, you get motivated to hit the weights again instead of just slamming everything. And that's a big mistake a lot of people do when they hit a plateau. They don't separate the variables. So we have the training, we have the cardio, we have the nutrition, and we have, let's say, the rest or the sleep or the off days. Most people, from what I know, working with clients, when they hit a plateau, they max out everything. It doesn't work like that. You got to find the balance. So you want to bring the rest up a little bit, maybe lower down the cardio, and then slowly push the weights. You can't just max everything out. You gotta balance it out. And this is what smart coaches tend to look at. You look, as you said, you look at everything. You look back at everything. You would ask. I mean, I sometimes ask kind of tricky questions, or some clients would get offended. Like, are you actually on your diet? Do you add any things to your diet? And I sometimes I get mad because people. So you get this client that want to lose weight, and then he's losing weight, losing weight, losing weight, and all of a sudden he's gaining weight. So first thing I would ask is everything okay this week? How was your sleep? You're like, sleep is perfect. How's your I can see that they're doing their cardio and training and everything. How's your diet? Diet is perfect. All on the plan. And then I will ask specific questions on their diet. And they'll be like, yeah, I've been doing 2 extra peanut butter tablespoons with oats in the morning, and I've been adding a protein bar. I was like, so a peanut butter, 2 tablespoons of peanut butter, that's roughly 200 calories, and protein bar, that's 200 calories. If you do that every day, 400 calories, you're out of your deficit. No doubt you're not losing weight. Some people think this is it's just couple hundred calories, or it's protein. No, it's calories, especially if you're deep down in your uh, weight losing phase. Your body starts getting real sensitive, and then every single calorie counts. So, what are I had a question in my mind talking about caloric deficit and all that. I wanted to touch on something. What's the most common issue that you usually have with clients?
Right. So with clients, I find that yeah, diet is typically the toughest part. I think I think that training, getting into a routine and a habit, and really making it to the gym and showing up when you're there, putting the right effort in, it does take time and it does take effort. But I think at a certain point, it gets easier than the diet side.
Yeah, I
We
agree with you. Diet, being consistent on the diet is the most difficult thing. But again, diet is has to be balanced. A lot of people want to lose weight real quick, and this is why they fail, because they would put themselves on 1,000 calorie deficit a day. They can be real pumped in the beginning. They will kill themselves, but they can't maintain it. Energy is going down. They're starving all the time. Craving goes up. they're gonna drop a lot of weight in the beginning, but then they're gonna get stuck. Energy expenditure goes down, the body stops functioning well, and then their need level goes down. And for everybody who's not familiar with what need is basically everything else you do outside of the gym. Stands for non-activities,
Non-exercise
non-exercise activity
activity.
thermogenesis. Yeah, and this happens actually on prep, because
Yeah, big time.
when you're on prep, you're like you're like you don't want to move, and this
Uh-uh.
kills your energy expenditure. And a lot of people don't realize that your outside of the gym activities is way higher than what you do in the gym. So what you do in the gym, if I want to guess, I would say it's like 30% of the total calorie expenditure. If you kill the outside need, if you don't move as much, cardio is not basically doing anything for you. It's not enough. Because if you have enough energy to walk, to do stuff in your house, move when you talk, do all the outside activities, you're burning at least twice of what you burn on the cardio machine on that 30 minutes or 40 minutes or hour. But a lot of people get themselves in a severe caloric deficit to the point where their need level goes real down, and then the cardio is not doing them any favor. So again, it comes back to the balance of it. So most important thing for me is with clients, I always want to make sure that they're clear on the idea that this is going to take time. People want everything to be all straight line every week, and they want to see actual results. And who doesn't? Everybody want to see results. But in body transformations, it takes time. You can push it to the max, couple weeks, and then, but probably most likely you're gonna rebound. You're not gonna maintain it, especially if it's not a show competition prep, or it's just a transformation or a lifestyle thing. You want to take your time. You want to take your time on it. A lot of really bad things can happen. Hormonal fluctuation. Your test level is going to go down. You're going to drop muscles. Your focus is going to go down. Your energy is going to go down, and then you're going to hate your life and quit. So, training splits. Do you have anything basic that you usually start with clients and then modify
Yeah,
as
so
you
it
go?
really comes down to how many days a week they're available. Or prepared, mentally prepared to go to the gym. I always think to myself when they say, "Oh, I can only make it to the gym 3 days a week."
Hmm.
You can make it to the gym 7 days a week. You just don't want to,
Yeah,
but that's okay. So I don't argue with them. Never argue with them. They're excited. They're motivated to go to the gym. So let's do it. We can do it 3 days a week. Now, if you're doing a 3 day split, and you are just starting, just complete amateur, I like to start with kind of a push pull legs split, just
awesome.
one x frequency. You really don't get a whole lot more benefit from training each muscle group twice a week when you're just starting, and it's going to allow you to get in plenty of compound lifting.
Compound
um,
lifts. That's
yeah,
that's a great point. And this applies to newcomers. I like to do the same thing, but I would rather to have them do full body 3 times a week. So that would be more frequency. And this is something that's really underestimated, the full body split or upper body, upper lower, or push pull legs. Because when you have someone that's new to the gym, forget about periodization. It doesn't apply to them. Periodization is for advanced people. For newcomers, you want to get them to train quality sets as much or as frequent as possible, avoiding so-called junk volume. So if you put them on a chest day, the first day, if we do a typical gym pro split, day one chest, day two back, day three legs, day four arms, day four shoulders and abs. So doing the chest for the first day, they will have the first couple exercises or the first, let's say, 5 sets are going to be quality sets. Everything else is going to be junk sets. It's not going to be efficient. They're not getting anything from it. So why not, if it's 10 exercises a day, why not split the 10 throughout the week and make them quality sets and add other body parts at the same time, at the same days, where you can actually do full day couple times a week. This way you get them do more quality sets, avoid junk volume, develop more techniques, mind muscle connection, more variety, and then more gains because you're hitting your body a couple times a week instead of just you you hit chest now and you hit chest next time the next Monday. A lot of people don't like this. They like to focus on one body part, and I don't know why. But since I got sick with COVID towards the end of last year, I started doing full body every time I go to the gym. I squat, deadlift, bench press, and then do accessories every single day in the gym. Sometimes I would do 2 days, rest one day, sometimes 5 days a week. I won't necessarily go crazy in volume. I won't necessarily hit a PR every day, but I train my whole body. And I did this for, I want to say, at least a month or 6 weeks. So we'll obviously take into consideration other variables, sleep, nutrition, and not really maxing out on cardio and going crazy and on a severe caloric deficit. You gotta balance out recovery, and sometimes you gotta take a day off. Sometimes you just gotta listen to your body. And now I'm doing upper body, lower body, upper body, lower body, upper body, lower body, 1 day rest.
Mm.
And this is my favorite training split so far.
So that's still that's still
Yeah.
3x frequency, but
Yes.
you're getting that day gap in between each time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like it. I like it.
So I'm
You
not
probably have like lower volume per day, is that correct? Just
definitely.
because
Oh
it's
yeah, lower volume. I'm not doing 5 exercises for upper chest or
right.
3 exercises for side delts or 6 exercises for quads. No, I'm sticking basically with compounds, refining my techniques on sets, and paying attention to volume. So I'm not going RPE 9 every set.
Yeah.
It's a balance, and I've been seeing a lot of improvements. I love this, but a lot of clients, when I put my clients on this, they'll be like, no, why there's no concentration curls, 6 sets? Why there's no 2 supersets of upper chest isolation? Well, you want to work on the foundation first, especially for first timers, people that have been doing it for less than a year or so. They're gonna
Totally.
grow like they're enhanced. So why
Yeah.
not use this and do compounds so you get a solid foundation in all the muscles, all the deep muscles, all the other small muscles that we don't pay attention to. Yeah, so this is my take on training splits. I don't necessarily apply periodization except needed with newcomers. In advanced level, you gotta pay attention to that, especially if the goal is to get stronger other than body composition, because you can play with the caloric. You can, for people who want to transform their bodies, it's more of a body composition goal. You can play more on the nutrition side of things, but for people that want to get stronger, like power lifters and stuff, you gotta apply periodization, especially on advanced level.
Oh
It's
yeah, big
yeah.
time.
Hmm.
Yeah. I want to say one thing about as far as beginners starting with full body 3 times a week or 2 times a week versus any kind of training split with a 1x frequency. So I just want to qualify the reason why I do that right now with a majority, not all of my clients, is because true noobs, never really done any lifting before, the soreness is
Yeah.
insane. It doesn't matter if you have them do one set, man, they're sore for a week. So that's the reason why I start with the 1x frequency. I do fully agree though that as soon as you are ready, as soon as the soreness is kind of, you're getting used to it, you're recovering faster, then yeah, do full body or do upper lower, because you get that frequency in and you get so much more time to practice technique, and technique is everything when you're first starting.
Yeah,
Just like you said, you will grow with pretty much anything as a newbie. You're going to grow like you're enhanced. So why not lay that foundation and practice technique so that when you do get stronger and you get bigger, you don't wind up with silly things like injuries or imbalances because you didn't lay the foundation to begin with.
I agree with you. That's actually smart of you doing push pull leg a week and then push pull legs the other week, and then gradually progressing to maybe upper lower 2 days rest, upper lower 2 days rest. So this time you allow more recovery, more time for recovery. A lot of people when they're sore for a whole week, they stop training the muscle that's sore. Well, you can actually train sore muscle. Maybe not every day, but it's not necessarily an indicator of growth. You can train sore muscle. You can at least pump it up, flush some blood in. It's gonna help with recovery. So if I'm doing upper lower 6 times a week, and I killed my legs today, and it's legs day again, I wouldn't go crazy on the volume. I will have more of a blood flow kind of thing to flush everything, help with recovery, bring the volume down, and then maybe the third time I go back to compounds with trying to actually go high on
Yeah.
on
Yeah,
the
I
weight.
think the one, probably the only issue with training a muscle that's sore, and this is talking about DOMs. This is not you're sore because you pulled something. Like I just want
Dumps,
everybody to listening to get that. Yeah.
yeah,
This is go ahead.
I was just gonna explain what DOMS is for
Oh
if
yeah.
people who are not familiar with it. This is delayed onset muscle soreness, which basically you train today, the next day you're not sore, and then 2 days later you can't walk. And this is what Eli was talking about. I'm sorry to for cutting
You're
you.
good. Yeah. Yeah, definitely good to define the terms.
Mm.
I think the probably the only issue with it is the potential um, for injury if you're training in a very intense loading zone. But on the newer side, I don't really see that being an issue. This is more toward the advanced side where you are pushing maybe 250 on the bench press or over 300 pounds on a deadlift. When you're getting to that higher level, kind of intermediate between intermediate and advanced, and the weight is real. I mean, it's the real deal now, because you could kind of lose focus or lose the ability to contract that muscle properly because of that soreness.
Hmm.
Um, that's just my take on it. I don't know if there's research backing that up, but that's the one thing I would be concerned with. Outside of that, yeah, pump up the muscle, get the blood flowing.
Yep, yep, yep. I agree with you. Well, so the takeout message: if you're new to the game, try to do more than one body part a week, a day. So try to train your body parts more than once a week. Try push pull legs. Try upper body, lower body. Maybe a full day. If you can't make it to the gym more than 3 times a week, do full body in these 3 times a week. Do compounds and then do accessories. You don't necessarily have to hit every muscle group with 4 or 5 exercises. And pay attention to nutrition, sleep, all that, water. A lot of people underestimate that. And if you hit a plateau, you got to go back and look at all the variables. You can't just max out everything. Yep. You want to add anything on training?
Yeah, I mean, you pretty much covered everything. I guess I just wanted to mention a possible real life takeaway from this is to make sure that in anything, you do the small things first, and you lay that groundwork before you embark on any kind of undertaking, whether that's in a relationship or in a career. Make sure you have all your bases covered, just like you need to still pay attention to nutrition, sleep, and stress before
Yes.
necessarily tweaking a training program. Same thing in life. Make sure that you have everything together before you start making drastic changes. Yeah, the big picture matters, but in order to make the big picture work, you have to work on the small.
Yes, totally agree with you. Well, stress is a really big part of it. We're gonna talk about it next time because we're not gonna be able to cover it in a couple minutes.
No.
So this was the second episode of Classthetics podcast, and if you guys have any questions or topics that you want us to comment in or go through or talk about, comment that in the comment section. Like, share, subscribe. It helps keep us going. And until next time, stay healthy. You want to add anything, Eli?
Keep it real.
Keep it real. All right, guys. You have a blessed one.